a fasting day for devotees of Lord Krishna. It's called Ekadasi. It becomes the 11th day of every lunar fortnight. It's a day where we fast from feeding the body and we focus on feeding the soul. What is the soul? What is the soul? It's an interesting question, right? So today we're going to speak about what is the soul, why it's important to feed it, how do we feed it? A lot of interesting questions. A lot of religions, they have fast days. Some have a fast month, I think, right? I don't know so much about Islam, but they have a whole month where they fast during the day. Is it? All right. So there's different religions, different ways people approach God. In our Vaishnav tradition, it's a very direct science and philosophy. It's a science because it's very scientific, it's very exact, and it's also a philosophy. But it's not just philosophy, it's science, because if you apply it, you can experience the results. The scientific method. The science of the soul, the science of self-realization. It takes time. Good things take time. If you were to ask Edison how he made the light bulb, the scientific process took time, took intelligence. So the science of consciousness is a very subtle and mysterious science, but we don't have to do it all on our own. There's the ascending process and the descending process. The ascending process in terms of the soul is described to be like trying to climb on raindrops. I want to know what my soul is. All right, are you willing to climb on raindrops? Rain comes down. It's the descending process. So that's given in the Vedic scriptures, the science of the soul, what's called the Atman. And if you study that textbook of the science of the soul and apply it, then you can learn how to feed the soul. And then you'll become strong, spiritually strong. So today is the day where we feed the soul. One of the ways to feed the soul is through the wisdom tradition itself. So days like this, we focus on the scripture, we focus on hearing sacred talks, the descended wisdom. See, a philosopher will try to realize everything himself through his own mind and intelligence, but our mind and intelligence is very limited. Krishnamurti, a great philosopher, he talks about that. You're limited by your own thoughts. But Veda is not our thoughts. It's higher, descended knowledge, realized knowledge. So Krishna spoke in the Bhagavad Gita the science of the soul, the science of the self. The Atman. I'll give you an interesting example. This is the body. There are different kinds of bodies. I have a body. It's different from your body. It's also different from an animal's body. Outside, there are cats in the street, dogs in the street, different bodies. But inside the cat, there is the Atma, the soul. You can call it soul, you can call it spirit. We call it Atman because it has a very scientific, philosophical underpinning. But we can also call it soul. You could call it self, but there's many layers of the self. When I'm talking about the self, am I talking to your mind? Is the mind the soul? You have to think about it. Is the intelligence the soul? Is the awareness the soul? These things are given a direction through language. You're given an indication through language. So there's a philosophical idea called Saka Chandra Nyaya, the logic of the moon on the branch of the tree. Oh, look at the moon. I can't see it. Oh, it's on the branch of that tree. The moon is not on the branch of the tree, but you can see the tree, and so I can say, look, the moon's on the branch of that tree. So it gives you a way to see the moon. So logic, language, all these things are limited, but it gives you a direction. You're going to have to follow the scientific process to realize the Atman. Understand? That's what we're doing. So the language is helping us because it's giving you a blueprint. But this is descended knowledge, not ascended knowledge. I have not come to these conclusions by my intelligence and my thoughts. I have received these conclusions from the wisdom of the Veda, represented in scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, the sacred text for Hindus, or what we call Sanatani. There's different Vaishnava lineages, there's different Vedic lineages. What I'm representing is coming from the Vaishnava tradition, coming in the line of Lord Chaitanya. But it's actually the all-encompassing structure and knowledge of the soul. Different lineages will give you different goals and processes to achieve those goals, but the knowledge of the soul is the same for each of these lineages. Otherwise, it's not the truth. You understand? Therefore, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about the soul. He doesn't talk about this lineage and that lineage and this other lineage and the other lineage. The Veda doesn't talk about different lineages, because otherwise you can have knowledge that starts becoming sectarianized. Then it becomes my truth and your truth. But my truth and your truth, if they start competing, then what is the truth? So the truth of the soul is one truth. There's other truths also. One lineage can have a specific truth, another lineage can have another truth. And if those truths don't compete, that means if they don't negate each other, then they can both be truth. Right? But mostly people are trying to establish their truth by negating other truths. And then we enter into a sectarian place of conflict. So when we're talking about the soul, it's got to be the same soul, whether we are Christian or Muslim or Hindu. And we have to establish that that truth can be accepted by everyone. But it's always going to be the moon on the branch of the tree until you follow the scientific method to realize the self. So today is a day for that. Different religions have different days. But it's not just about worshiping God. In our specific path, we are worshiping God, right? To realize Him, to serve Him. That's our specific tradition. But the truth of the soul remains the same for a Hindu, for a Christian, for a Muslim. Different philosophies can say different things. A Buddhist will say the soul is actually ultimately non-self. Nothing exists. And if you want to follow that belief system, you're welcome to. Follow it to its conclusion, which is called spiritual suicide. That's their goal. So if you want spiritual suicide, then you follow it to its conclusion and see if you can turn off the light of consciousness and be in darkness forever. What we would say from our point of view is, from the Vedic point of view is, the universe already goes through that process. The process of the long, deep sleep. You imagine if you were to sleep for 1 trillion years, then you'd be ready to wake back up. Makes sense, right? Go to sleep for 1 trillion. That's what the universe does. I'm telling you. This is the Vedic version. The Vedic version is descended knowledge. Buddhism is ascending knowledge. Buddhism is ascending knowledge. By the intellect, what do you end up with? Nothingness. You follow the ascending process to the ultimate conclusion, you end up with nothingness. Because it's not verifiable while you're in the human experience. What's verifiable? Nothing. So the goal of the ascending process is to achieve nirvana. But nirvana itself is not the Atman. What is the Atman? What we would say is, and this would even hold according to the logic of the scientists in modern time. The creation of the universe comes, right? How long did it take for human consciousness to arrive? According to the scientific point of view, it took billions of years. They say about 14.6 billion years the universe has been there, since the Big Bang. They're always increasing it. The Vedic point of view is the life of the universe is 311 trillion, 432 billion years. And according to their estimation, we are, a little bit more than halfway through the life of one universe. And when you become so exhausted from the struggle of existence that you want to take a long sleep, then the universe goes into a cycle of dissolution. And consciousness withdraws beyond the state of waking, sleeping, into deep dreamless sleep. You understand what I'm saying? That means, imagine, I'll give you an example. Imagine a nuclear bomb falls in New York City. Not just New York City, but big enough to wipe out all human civilization within New York City. And then it falls on Chicago and Los Angeles and Boston, and then it falls on Shanghai and Hong Kong, and then it falls on, all these other countries. And human society, civilization is wiped out. Gone. This is nirvana. This is the goal of Buddhism. I'm not trying to, blow smoke, but right? But the goal is, to achieve, life is such suffering that the goal is to turn it off. Turn off the candle of consciousness, right? All right, so what are you going to do? The candle of consciousness works through a vessel, which is called the body. The soul is called Kshetra Gya, knower of the field, and the body is called Kshetra, the field. So I am knower of the field of my body. I felt that, but you didn't feel it, because you are the knower of your body. But if you have empathy, you say, Mar, stop hitting yourself. Right? So, I'm just giving you an example from the scientific point of view. If all the human beings on earth died, that means there's not another man and woman to create another human being. Then what happens? Higher consciousness goes to sleep. And lower consciousness, animals, they also died. Plant life also died. So the earth goes into deep sleep. But the Atman, the soul, was not harmed. It's a very high scientific, philosophical understanding. Like sometimes they say in a movie, it's a very interesting example. Sometimes they say in a movie, no animals were harmed in this film. What are you talking about? Horses and elephants and, everyone. I saw a horse die. No animals were harmed in this film. It's all theatrics. So now we have to talk about the Atman. But first I'm covering Buddhism, right? This is the idea of Buddhism. Deep sleep without consciousness. So yes, we agree. The universe already has that process. Deep sleep. And it cycles. When the earth was formed, it took a while for it to cool down, and then for civilization to develop, a long time, and then for humanity to develop, and then for it to be given knowledge, and then for it to be able to understand the soul. A cat and a dog's not walking around saying, like a cat, a dog, and a pig walk into a bar, and they say, meow, and one says roof, and one says oink. Right? The cat's not asking the dog, who am I? And the dog's not asking the cat, who am I? And the pig's not asking the bartender, who am I? Right? So that's possible for higher consciousness. Human beings have higher consciousness. It's called budding consciousness. Some human beings are on budding consciousness, but consciousness is not the Atman. Understand? Moon on the branch. It's limiting. You're limiting the idea of the Atman by calling it consciousness. And you're confusing it with mind. What's the difference between your mind and your consciousness? There's a difference. I'm going to give you more philosophy, but first I want to establish this is like Atmagyan. You are not your mind, and your mind is not your soul. You are not your body, and your body is not your soul. This has to be understood through practice. Understood through practice. And you have a textbook, you have a manual. And there's different ways to realize it. Different lineages give you different processes, but right now we're talking about the soul. And I'm trying to give a few drops of water to the soul. Am I pouring water on you? It's a metaphor, right? I'm trying to give some water to the soul, some knowledge, but it should lead you to the process of awakening. And once you are awakened, you can choose what you want. In the process of awakening, according to your desires and your choices, you'll also go to different paths, different directions, different destinations. People say all paths lead to the same destination. How? If I get on a plane, can I say, take me anywhere? I can say, take me anywhere. They'll say, all right, get on this one. It'll still take me somewhere. All paths do not lead to the same destination. So while you're trying to awaken or achieve enlightenment, which kind do you want? Do you want Buddhist enlightenment? Great. Figure out a way to control all the nuclear bombs. You can achieve Buddhist enlightenment. Life is suffering. We should end it. All at once, learn how to control AI and learn how AI can take over all the weapons. And there'll be some Buddhist supervillain. And I'll say, I'm going to end all suffering. If you really believe it, you really believe it? You really believe it? You end all suffering. Great, end all suffering. Blow up the world. But that would be called evil. Because you're halting the spiritual progress of consciousness on earth. You're doing harm to the cat and the dog and the pig that walked into the bar. Because the cat gets to say meow, and the dog gets to say roof, and the pig gets to say oink. And then next life, if it gets to continue evolving, then it may become a human being. And as a human being, its higher consciousness, it may get the chance to realize what is the Atman. Right? The Atman is something, not nothing. And just because material life is suffering, it doesn't mean that there is not something higher or beyond. Just like we are a higher grade of consciousness than a cat, there's also a higher level of consciousness embodied in a higher form than a human form. That's the Daivic realm, the angelic realm. And there's a higher realm of beings than that, the great sages. That means not like the ascended masters. The ascended masters live in realms like tapas loka, jana loka. These are the higher. The universe has higher dimensional realms and lower dimensional realms. And ascended masters go to higher dimensional realms. And then it has beyond this realm. We don't have time for this whole topic. Next time, if you're interested, say, oh, we like this topic. We want to hear another class. Okay, you want to talk about this thing? This should be gone through in a gradual, peaceful manner that we can try to digest the food that we're offering to the soul. And think of the universe as a body. Because the universe is a form. Within that form, there's the chakra system. So the universe also has lower chakras and higher chakras. Just like our body has lower chakras and higher chakras. There's a universe inside our body, and the body is inside the universe. So now I'll give you another idea that how we are not the body. If I go outside and get in a car, the car is now my body or vehicle to go where I want to go. If it doesn't start, it means, oh, the battery is dead. Why do you say the battery is dead? Oh, the car didn't start. Why not? The battery was dead. Give it a new battery. Oh, my body's not starting. Oh, his heart is dead. Why didn't you put a pacemaker? Get the, what are the things that they shock you with? Get a defibrillator. His heart's not working. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, but am I my heart? I switched the battery in the car, now the car drives. And that car is my vehicle. I am the passenger or I'm the driver. So we are the driver of our body, but there's other passengers in the car. All our other desires. Go there, do this, do that. Other souls also embody this body, just like other souls embody this universe. And all those souls are like voting on what they want you to do. They're sending, I'll give you an example. I'm talking about the soul now, so I'm giving you a funny example. Like they say, you got to write your senator, write your congressman. So powerful souls in your bodies are saying, do this. You see a beautiful woman, and a powerful soul in your body is saying, go have sex with that woman. Maybe it's you, maybe it's some other soul. You don't know. It's not your Atman, because the Atman is beyond that. All these desires are competing. And you have to learn how to master your desires and master your senses. The body is like sometimes different subtle beings try to enjoy through your body. This is all very subtle science. It said you go outside and it's a full moon night. The full moon wants to enjoy you. If you're a young boy, young girl, you think, oh, the young boy, the young girl want to have sex. No, it said that the moon is a subtle entity that is also looking to enjoy this young girl and young boy because it's looking at them. And it also has lust. Very subtle science, right? This is Vedic science. So, when we get in the car, we use the car, don't identify as the car. So we're using the body, we have a body. If the car crashes, the passenger, the driver can also die. Maybe, maybe not. Just like if this body gets in an injury. Oh, I broke his leg. No, the soul's still there. But if certain things, the brain, the heart, certain organs stop working, I know people who are paralyzed from the neck down. They're still living. Because the machine, the apparatus is still basically functioning. But at a certain point, your heart stops working, your brain stops working, then consciousness leaves the body. It goes to its next destination, according to its desire, according to its karma. So, the point is, I'll give you one more example. Like this camera. The camera has an eye. That's how they designed the camera, right? How to figure out how to make an eye and record it. Now we take it for granted, but it's a great scientific achievement. Amazing. Before they would have a huge device just to take one picture. Right? Now we can take, high resolution and this and that. The point is, the eye or the camera's eye, it's recording, even if it's not recording, the lens is there seeing me, but it's not seeing me. Like if you're not recording the camera, the lens is still there. I'm still reflected in the lens. I'm just not being recorded. But that lens is not seeing me. You understand? The lens is not the seer. So the eye is not the seer. I am seeing with my eye, but the eye is not the seer. That is the self, the Atman. But the Atman is asleep. We have not awakened our Atman. Our mind is now seeing. Anyone has an awakened Atman, they say, my Atman is... The mind is seeing. And the soul is asleep. That's why this life is called a dream. So we say, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Why? The soul is sleeping. Lord Chaitanya said what? Jeev Jago, wake up. To wake up is the scientific process. Scientific process. Once you're awake, then you understand what is daylight. Right? In the dream, you are seeing the sun and you're thinking very bright. So anyhow, the camera lens is seeing, but it's not seeing. So in the same way, the eye is seeing, but it's not the seer. We can accept. In the same way, we can extend it to the other senses. The ear is hearing, but it's not the hearer. The nose is smelling, but it's not the smeller. The tongue is tasting, but it's not the taster. It's not the soul either, directly. You see, it's levels of apparatuses. So the soul is not directly tasting. If the soul is directly tasting, then you can cut, kill, harm the soul. Because the soul is not directly tasting, I cannot go and find a soul and kill it. A soul cannot be harmed. The whole planet, can achieve nirvana. And it goes through cycles of nirvana. That means complete dissolution. And we think it's a horrible thing. It's a horrible thing if it's unsanctioned according to the wrong time. A supervillain gets hold of all the bombs and kills everybody. That's evil. But is death evil? If death is evil, then what is life? The Buddhists say life is also evil, suffering. Causing suffering to somebody is evil, right? If I go and find someone's child and take it hostage and send them a video and say, I'm going to kill your child unless you do this, give me all your money. If I were to kill that child, that's called evil. Therefore, I would go to prison my whole life. Or in some societies, good ones, I would just be killed if they could prove it without a doubt. Not some, what do they call it? Like, beyond, in court, they have levels of evidence. You understand what I'm saying, right? If they could prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that I did it, then in a righteous society, the king would just say, cut off his head. Why? Because it was evil. An eye for an eye. To make other people not want to do it. Right? Understand? We should learn to become the master of our own body and mind. Just like the highest form of government is a pure, righteous ruler. Monarchy. But monarchy in the present system always devolves because it's inherited through birth. And so you find an unworthy prince who is unrighteous. So the nature of entropy is that the material system is always decaying. And it takes people who are righteous to uplift it. So we don't have any perfect government system in this world. It's impossible. Because it's an imperfect world. Democracy is not perfect. Communism is not perfect. Monarchy is not perfect. Theocracy is definitely not perfect. Oh, we should make a religious person the ruler. Is he really a religious person? Is he a really spiritual person? Or is he just hungry for lusty, hungry for power and wealth and followers and fame? Right? So this is you see it's a very subtle science. So, we should try to come to a higher level of understanding, a higher level of knowledge. It's helpful for everyone. Consciousness is going through processes of evolution. We should try to continue to evolve our consciousness, to come to higher states of knowledge and experience, to really realize the Atman, right? The mind is watching the movie of our life. The mind is watching the movie of our life, and when the movie's over, then we'll find out what's next. What's the soul doing? The soul is dreaming while the mind is watching the movie. You understand? The mind is watching the movie and thinking, I'm the main character. And I have control. What level of control do we have? We don't know. We can talk about that. It's a different topic. But first, I'm trying to help you understand the levels of distinction. Levels of distinction. Real Atman is transcendental. That's what I'm saying. Mind is not transcendental. Mind is subtle. So you have the camera lens. Then you have the memory that's it being recorded to. That's part of the mind, memory, right? Oh, it's being recorded in my memory. What happens when your memory is full? Right over it, right? So on a computer, they figured out how to, like when your computer gets full and you just delete everything. Where did it all go? Oh my God, my computer's full. I had a terabyte and it's over full and it's going slow now. Oh, I just put it all in the trash bin and delete it. What, you picked up everything and shook it out and took out the trash and called the sanitation department? No, you just pushed a button. What did it do? Went back into the unmanifest. What you basically said is, I am ready to be rewritten. So the computer hardware is like matter, and from that matter, you're basically saying, I'm ready to be reborn. So this body, when its memory gets full, and you're just like, I have a memory of that divorce. I have a memory of that fight with my father. I have a memory of this. I have a memory of this. I have a memory of that. I have all these traumas. Delete. Restart. Empty out the cache, right? So that's the system. It's a natural system. It's a good system. We're attached to this body, so we don't want to die. But when we realize the Atman, no big deal. Maybe I'm a cat and I get to become a dog. Maybe I'm a dog, I get to become a tiger. Maybe I'm a tiger, I get to become a human. There's a funny story to show these levels of change. And the Atman can change. So I know it's Harikatha goes for about an hour, so we got a little more time. Food for the Soul Day. So I'll tell you a funny story, and then we'll talk about transgenderism in an interesting way. Transgender people, I would say they're one step smarter than people who are very against it. One step smarter. Not smarter, more evolved. But they're also one step less evolved. It's a very interesting position. Right? Regular people, I'm just a regular person. My body, I got, what's a man? A man is someone who has a penis and can shoot semen out of it. And, it can go into a female organ and it can create life. Yes, but is that all that a man is? That's the body, right? But to experience it, there's a mind, and a mind is higher than the body. You understand? So transgender people, they say, no. My experience, I'm in a male body, but I'm having the experience of a woman. So what's higher? Tell me, what's higher? I'm having the experience of a woman. I'm born in the wrong body. Why were you born in the wrong body? So we say sometimes husband and wife are always fighting. Fighting. And then you're having sex, fighting. What's born? An angry soul. Or a disturbed soul. Or a confused soul. You didn't give birth to it, you invoked it. You brought it. When you have sex, the soul enters, that energy vessel. What is the body at that point? The semen, right? And then it goes into the ovum or however it works, and blah, blah, blah. I'll give you a funny Hindi saying. The story of a king and a queen. So here's the story in English. Once there was a king and a queen. They both died. The end. Ek tha Raja, ek tha Rani. Dono mar gaya. Khatam kahani. Once there was a king and he had a queen. They both died. The end. Like you asked me the other day, Maharaj, what happens after we die? We are born again, and then we die again. Why are you being born again and dying again? Because you're an illusion. Because your Atma is still sleeping. Understand? Your Atma is still asleep. This human life is to wake up from the dream, not the mind watching the movie. No, because through this knowledge, what am I doing here? Through this knowledge, I am kind of programming a new idea into your consciousness, right? And so you say, Maharaj gave some interesting talk, and now I'm like a mind, and mind movie. No. This will fade away down, and then your other programs will start running again. I'm putting in one program. I'm putting in a little software. The other program of your karmas will start again. And that's inevitable. Family and work and all that. If you're intelligent, you'll use this human form of life to awake. If you're intelligent. But our process is very gradual, very kind. Right? God is so kind that He says, you know what, even if it takes 311,432,000,000,000 years for you to wake up. I'll give it that much time. One universe. And all these different cycles of start, repeat. Your memory gets so full, God says, okay, wipe it out. So for some, there's mercy death. What is every death is mercy death. Because it's another chance to wake up. You understand? It's another chance. You're a 98-year-old man and you don't want to wake up? You understand? No, you're not going to wake up. You're going to have another dream. And your mind's going to watch another movie. That's how it works. This is Atma Gyan. Atma Gyan, feed the soul. Atma knowledge. There's a lot of other process in our specific tradition, how to get to the goal of our specific tradition. I talk a lot about that. But my guru's instruction to me is also to talk about more broad knowledge, to help people rise up a little bit in a way they can understand with philosophy. So this is philosophy now. So, once there was a guru, and he lived in the jungle, forest, in a little ashram, and one day, a cat who lived near the ashram, sometimes I'm mixing up the story a little bit. I'll tell you a funny example. Sometimes like we have cats and we think, cats are good. Why? They eat the mice. Right? We say this, right? We have an ashram upstate, 60-acre ashram. People say, oh, you have a big ashram. Nice. Nice ashram. Very good. What do you do in the ashram? Oh, very good. There's a feral cat. Oh, there's a feral cat? Very good. What does it do? It eats the mice. Oh, very nice. It means you don't have a mice problem. So what is happening? One soul, through its process of evolution, is in the body of a mouse, and one soul is in the body of a cat, and the cat is terrorizing the mice. And the mice population gets together at night and says, evil freaking cat. Right? That's the basic information. In the mouse language, all the mice are getting together, that freaking cat. If we could just gang up together, we'd kill the bloody cat. If enough mice had the intelligence to do it, in the meantime, they're just afraid. And that's why they run very fast, corner to corner, because their basic program is fear. Fear and survival, right? That's what the chakra level they're on. Cats on what? Lounge around and hunt. Because it's a predator. Right? It's a predator. So it's, I get to lay around and I get to go hunt mice. It's having a good time. The cat is following its bliss. The cat is following its bliss. The mice is a lower form of life, lower form of consciousness, suffering for past sins. So the mouse is suffering and in fear. But it also gets to have sex and enjoy. So there's happiness. See, this is like science, right? There's happiness within the suffering and suffering within the happiness. Right? What to do. But the cat is hunting the mice. So one time, the story goes that there was a mouse that came to the Guru's ashram and said to the Guru, right? I'm going to give you two versions of this story. The analytical, Western, doubtful mind version, and the Vedic version, which is more mysterious. Two versions of this story. One is, gurus can understand the language of creatures because they can understand the science of the soul. So the guru can understand the predicament of these mice. So this one mouse keeps coming. And he keeps, I'm giving you this version now, right? The regular version is that the mouse says to the guru, I'm suffering because this cat is terrorizing me. And the guru says to the mouse, what do you want? And the mouse says to the guru, make me a cat. Because that's what it knows. What language did it use? Did the guru speak? Did the mouse speak? This is a Vedic story. So people would say, Vedas is all mythology, this bogus story of the cat that became a dog. Right? The mouse became a cat, the cat became a dog. Oh, this bogus story. Guru is speaking in the language of the soul. And the mouse is lamenting, lamenting, lamenting. And lamentation leads you to what? You can't figure out, so you're praying. So the mouse is praying. All right? So in the story, the way the story goes, how the mouse said it, how the Guru said it, but the mouse prayed to the Guru, I need help. And the Guru said, what do you want? You understand? Guru represents God. So if Guru has power, he can help you. So you say, Guru, God, I want this, I want this. What will happen? Will you be happy with it? The mouse knows the cat lays around and eats it. So it's a better form of life. This is how the soul is reincarnating. Right? I'll give you an example from New York City. The lower classes are envious of the upper classes. New York City is a good microcosm of this earth. You have upper class, someone is living on a high floor apartment in Central Park. There's apartments for $100 million. And people are that bloody freaking rich billionaire. Eat the rich, tax the rich, eat them. Right? The mouse wants to become a cat. Because what is that cat doing up on the top of the Central Park floor? It's effing around with other cats. Right? Snorting cocaine. I don't know. Finds a bunch of pretty cats, or foxes, whatever, and invites them up. Who knows? Whatever it's doing. I don't know. I'm not envious of it. So I don't care what it's doing. It's just nature doing nature. Right? But if you're a mouse and you're envious of the cat, then what do you say? Make me a cat. Baba, there's also a dog. So the cat, what is a dog? Donald Trump. Ruff, 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 ruff. Right? All the cats are afraid of Trump. Right? All these rich freaking people enjoying, and Trump saying, I want to defend my country. Ruff, ruff, ruff. I want to defend my country. Ruff, ruff, ruff. I want to defend my country. Yes, we accept. He's like a dog. But he's saying, I'm not defending Trump here. I'm saying, what is Trump saying? America, America, USA, 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 USA. And there's 77 million people who voted for him who are saying USA, USA. Is that bad or good? It's relative. Because they're saying Canada, 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 USA, 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 Canada, Canada, China, China, China. Russia, friends and enemies, friends and enemies, friends and enemies, friends and enemies, right? Good, bad, relative. So the mouse says, I'm envious of the cat. I want to be a cat. Guru says, Tathastu, become a cat. What happens? Later the cat comes back, right? Meow. Donald Trump is barking at me, right? Whatever it is. There's a million verses. Whatever it is, it is. So the cat wants to become a dog, right? What happens is now is everyone saying Trump, 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 Trump. I'll give you more philosophy now. Krishna says, Yang yang vapi smaram bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tamivaiti kunteya saratad bhava bhavita. This is soul knowledge. Descending soul knowledge, not ascending. So Krishna says, what you are focused on, you become. Right? What's that mean? You're always focusing on something, right? So you become it. It's like you have kids who from the childhood, they want to become an Olympic champion. So they work on it for years and years and years and years and years, and then one day they win a gold medal. You know what these people say? I heard this, a golfer. The best, I don't know his name, but he just wins everything. The top golfer. And he says he doesn't know why he does it sometimes, because when you get the goal, you realize it fades, the serotonin, dopamine hit. Goes away after a half hour, an hour. Oh, let's go have dinner. It'll go for a few days. You win the Super Bowl, go to a few days. Then, I want to win the Super Bowl next year. Or my wife is such a B word. Right? Or, she's divorced me and taken whatever it is. So anyhow, the cat wants to become a dog. That's what I'm trying to say here, the philosophy. The cat wants to become a dog. So it's focusing on becoming a dog. So it becomes a dog. I hate Trump. I hate Trump. I hate Trump. Next life, you're going to become a dog. See, now I'm criticizing Trump while also giving some good quality of him. I'm neutral. A sadhu, a sage, a saintly person. I'm not a sadhu or a sage or a saintly person, but I'm representing the philosophy. I'm neutral. The dog is doing dog things. The cat is doing cat things. You understand? And Trump's not a dog or a cat. We have this movie, a funny movie, Kung Fu Panda. Very smart movie. Why? One guy's a panda, and his teacher is this little freaking, whatever it is. I don't know. Raccoon. No, is it? Raccoon? It's a raccoon, I think. Yeah. There's a raccoon as teacher, right? And then there's like 5-star students, and one is like a praying mantis. One is a tiger, one is a snake. What does it mean? The very interesting, intelligent ideas. That means some human beings embody snake-like qualities. Some embody tiger-like qualities. Some embody panda-like qualities. The panda just happened to be the dragon warrior. Why? Because he was who the universe called forth to defeat the angry whatever guy, the other tiger. Right? Whatever it was. The point is, the Atman can be a tiger, the Atman can be a panda, the Atman can be a praying mantis, the Atman can be a snake. And if you embody too many snake-like qualities as a human, the human form of life is called the springboard. High-level intelligent creature. But if you're too snake-like, God will give you a snake form. If you're too tiger-like, God will give you become a tiger. I like raw steak. Okay, God will make you a tiger. It's better formed for eating raw animals. So consciousness gets that form. Right? You get that body, that car. I want to, that's what happens. So the cat becomes a dog. This is the story. Right? The cat becomes a dog. Because the dog is chasing the cat. So the mouse becomes the cat becomes a dog. The dog goes back to the guru. Ruff, 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 ruff. The bloody freaking tiger. The tiger wants to eat me. Tiger wants to eat me. There's a tiger in the jungle. So the tiger says to the guru, the dog says to the guru says, what do you want? What do you want? If you're a little more intelligent, you would say, when I was a mouse, I wanted to become a cat. I still wasn't happy. When I was a cat, I wanted to become a mouse, a dog. Still wasn't happy. Now I'm a dog, I'm still not happy. Why? Because I have dog consciousness. I hate Donald Trump because I have dog consciousness. No, cat consciousness. And Trump has, I'm afraid of the tiger consciousness. What is the tiger for Trump? Tell me. Death. Many stories, many stories, many stories. People who are too attached. I'll tell you a very short version of this story. Man is running through a jungle, chased by a tiger. And it's breathing down his neck, and he's zigzagging through trees, and then he sees a well. And the well has branches over it. So it jumps and it catches hold of a branch, and it's a big well. So the tiger comes to the edge and swipes at it, but it can't reach him. And the tiger is swiping and growling and starts circling the well. And he's just in the middle holding this. Right? The tiger is death. So you may become a dog in this world, which means a very powerful human being. I'm talking about humans now, right? So you may become a dog. Like the dogs of New York. The Bloods and the Crips, predators. You're not working, you're not a cat. Cats are loafing around and enjoying, right? Rich people, enjoying this world, bourgeoisie cats. Dogs, they're gangsters. Trump's a G, he's a D-A-W-G dog, right? But he's afraid of death. Why? He doesn't want to give up his position. This is the nature. So the man's in the well, and the tiger's, what's it said, you know? This is the story as it goes. He looks down to see if he can go into the well. And he sees it's a dry well, and the bottom is filled with snakes and spiders. And the spiders are starting to climb up the walls, and the snakes are hissing. So I can't go down. What is that? All our problems in life. This problem, that problem, this problem. Okay, and your problems. Get out. Some people do that. There's too many spiders, too many snakes. Right? People hear this story and think, it's mythology. Hindus are all about mythology. Hindus, Sanatana Dharma is the most highly advanced philosophy and science ever created. Because it gives you a blueprint and a system, and if you follow it, it gives you a path beyond enlightenment, beyond birth and death, beyond liberation. There's a lot, if you're interested, you ask me, Maharaj, I'd like another class. And then, this knowledge system continues. So anyhow, let's finish the story and try to, we're honoring this Food for the Soul Day. So Food for the Soul Day Katha. The dog says to the guru, make me a tiger. This is what he's saying. What does the guru say? Tathastu. Guru is detached. Guru is detached. So what does the tiger do? Dog becomes a tiger. So now think of it in human-like terms. I'm giving you a story, and just because I give you the story, you think, Guru is making it up. A real guru has the power. A very, very highly advanced, bona fide guru has the power to make a mouse into a cat, and a cat into a dog, and a dog. But if we just tell the story like that, people say, you're making up stories. So think of it in this term. The tiger sees the guru now, and what is the tiger? Tiger is death. So, tiger wants to eat the guru. This is the traditional story. The mouse was trying to be eaten by the cat, so it became a cat. Cat was trying to be eaten by the dog, so the cat became a dog. Dog was trying to be eaten by a tiger, so the dog wanted to become a tiger. What's the tiger want to do? Eat the human. Why? So the traditional story goes that the tiger was in the jungle and everyone's making fun of it. Why? You still have your mouse whiskers. Right? Guru was, you were a mouse. Yesterday you were a mouse. A few days ago you were a mouse, then you became a cat and a dog. Tiger became envious of Guru. Tiger wanted to eat Guru. So Tiger started licking his chops and going towards the Guru. And the Guru smiled and said, oh, this is reincarnation. This is the cycle of birth and death. Today you are a tiger, yesterday you were a mouse. Tomorrow you're a mouse again. Punar Musikaba, again become a mouse. Many gurus have risen, many gurus have fallen. There's another layer. In India, many gurus have risen. There was a very famous guru. It was found out he was doing the most wicked things. He went in prison. Even the guru can again become a mouse. Right? We've seen that plenty of times. There's examples of gurus who end up going and being janitors. Right? Again become a mouse. So the traditional story is the bona fide guru said, okay, you want to be a tiger? No problem. Oh, you want to eat me? No problem. Sometimes disciples may even poison their guru. Because, then I will be guru. Guru is not such a light thing. Guru is a very high thing. Right? We are servants, Baba. Said the highest aspiration is to be a servant of the 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 divine. Right? It's a very high thing. We should try to be wise. So the story goes, the tiger is again made into a mouse. Right? You join an ashram and you're a mouse. Everyone's telling you what to do and making fun of you, and there's some cat loafing around. Right? And then you become a cat, and then there's some dog barking at you. And then you become a dog, and then there's some tiger over you. And then you become a tiger, and you're looking at Guru. Right? And then you again become a mouse. So this is life. So the soul is going through transmigration. This is called transmigration. But we can also achieve the beyond, which is when the soul truly wakes. Not even at the end of the birth and death of the body. That means beyond liberation. And that is what we're talking about, how to go beyond liberation. So I told that whole story about transgenderism, that was the idea. It's a higher intelligence because they understand that it's not just the body that makes a man or a woman. It's the experiencer. So if I'm experiencing that I'm a woman, who are you to say I'm not? So you should address me as she, her. You accept? What? Or you should address me as like meow self or roof self. Sometimes there's these kids now and they're like putting on tails and going to school with tail. They put like a furry tail on and they say, I'm a furry. Well, you're experiencing life like a furry, and next life you'll become a furry. You should ask yourself, do you really want to become a lower form of consciousness? Do you really want to become an animal? Right? Or if you're a man and you want to be a woman, just wait. You'll become a woman. And if you want to mess with your genitalia, you can do that also. Your body won't become a woman. You understand? The body is male or the body is female. You know, XX, XY, however it works. But that doesn't mean there's not such a thing as transgender. Gender and sex, you know, that's the whole argument about this. Sex and gender. They say gender is an experience. Anyhow, it's a whole thing. Spectrum, there's a spectrum. What's the spectrum? Right? There's 8,400,000 species of life. That's the spectrum. Now you understand the spectrum? The spectrum of genders is 8,400,000 species of life. It's a big rainbow. Right? Really big rainbow. And we're transmigrating through it. And we hope that one day we can truly wake up. Radhe Radhe.